Chapter 11. Welcome back, everyone. We are continuing the story of Jin Hyuk, whose favorite game turned into reality, and he's using his game knowledge to get super strong as soon as possible. If you haven't watched the previous part, the link is in the description. I am trying to make longer videos now with a minimum of 2 to 5 chapters for every video. I will try my best to post every day or every 2 days. Please leave a like to the video so we can get 100 likes minimum on this video, and please consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed yet. Now let's continue the story. If you dodge the attack of the Minotaur, a hidden stat called Gap will be acquired. However, the reward is limited only when you select the labyrinth as the first hunting ground in the tower. Gap. It was a stat that narrowed down the gap in a battle between the strong and the weak. Any extreme difference in levels widened the gap during a battle. Tring. Details. When you fight an enemy stronger than yourself, the gap closes the level gap by 1 for every 3 stat points. When you fight an enemy weaker than yourself, the gap closes the level gap by 1 for every 2 stat points. It was the only way to grow while maintaining a level 1 state. This wasn't the only method I discovered after countless trials and errors. The beginning was only 0.05 points, but there is no need to rush, because this was just the start. Jin Hyuk continued to avoid the axe. Woong! Kwang! The axe was shredding the labyrinth's walls with a terrifying roar. The debris from the walls had scattered around. It was a dangerous fight where a small mistake could lead to death. But Jin Hyuk didn't even blink. There would be no mistake. Because I am skilled. Because I survived more dangerous situations than this. And because he enjoyed the process. Bang, quang, bang. The storm-like attack was being dodged with the margin of a single sheet of paper. Such a monster. Oh my... We were trying to mess with such a guy. It was a familiar fight for Jin Hyuk, but the newbies were shocked at what they saw. Of course, they couldn't help but be shocked at this. His movements in front of the terrifying axe were absurd. It resulted from learning things down to the bone through constant repetition. Therefore, it was closer to foresight rather than prediction. Totally fucked up. Park Hana gulped. How did she even think of killing such a person to try and steal their reward? That would be like pouring oil over her body and jumping right into the fire. Go. The Minotaur, drenched from the fight, ran even more violently. Kwang! Kwang! The axe kept passing by Jin Hyuk. Fatal attack was narrowly evaded. The stat gap has increased by 1. Avoiding more dangerous attacks gave more stat gains. It meant that with high risk came high returns. Jin Hyuk touched the drop of blood on the nape of his neck with his finger. As expected, I need to do this to get maximum stats. He was deliberately avoiding it at extremely close distances. Giving up a little bit of skin for a full stat point gain wasn't a bad exchange. He did it frequently, despite the danger, as the minutes passed. Phew. Hook. Jin Hyuk's breathing turned raspy, and he could feel his stamina dropping. Jin Hyuk glanced behind him. While he was facing the Minotaur, he saw those people trying to sneak away. Look at them. Are the supporting actors trying to leave on their own terms? This could not be allowed. I was the one who decided when, where, and how they lived or died. More than anything else, you don't even know how to escape. Jin Hyuk secretly widened the distance between him and the Minotaur and approached the party. If you want to get stat points, join me. Park Hana was shocked. If you dodge an attack, you can get a hidden stat. It is actually a lot easier than it looks. Give it a try. Usually good things weren't supposed to be shared, but it was an exception this time. With a kind and good heart, there can be just one exception. At those words, Park Hana's face became terribly distorted. It was like she was saying, "You idiot, from what direction does that look easy?" Ah, don't back out. Try it at least once. I won't force you again if you don't want to. Jin Hyuk smiled brightly. At the same time, he pushed Do Kwang-woo, who was next to Park Hana, to the front. Slash. Do Kwang-woo's upper and lower body was split in half. Nothing was left in the Minotaur's hand as it had become angry. Ouch! No. How could he stand still like that? You should dodge or move far from him quickly. It was such a lovely scene to see. The labyrinth had changed again. Cuckoo. The walls and ground moved again, and everyone had to move apart to avoid being crushed. Thanks to this, they were able to get away from the Minotaur. Ha! 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 Thank God. I almost died. Everyone was breathing heavily. Although they had lost 2 of their party, no one felt sad. Instead, they were glad to be alive. After all, their own life was more precious. Is it done? It won't chase us down, right? Park Hana looked at the wall and trembled. It looked like the Minotaur would appear through the wall at any moment. It will keep chasing us. Jin Hyuk said this while fiddling with a dagger in his hand. It was the weapon that Do Kwang-woo used. It was a keepsake now. Why will it chase us? The path has changed. Because of this. The Minotaur would continue to follow them since their skin was covered by luminous moth dust. It would keep coming until they exited the labyrinth. No way. Why the hell did you do that? Why? Why? Because I need to raise my stats. Only when the labyrinth changes do I have time to replenish my stamina and continue to play with that bull for the rest of the time. How long? Until we get out of the labyrinth. So, how long? Around 1 month. To be precise, it was a month if he moved quickly. It could take 2 months if he took it slow. He was going to do it quickly. But if she continued treating him like this, he decided to make it harsh for her. Park Hana fell backward. 1 month? She wasn't sure if she could survive for a day, let alone a month. We will move separately. The Minotaur won't come after us if we don't move with you. This time, Lee Hammond spoke carefully. Sure. Jin Hyuk nodded. Certainly, the first target is me, who has dust all over him. But you see, which way will you take? You don't even know the exit. Will you just pray to escape this and walk whichever way you want to? That sounds like a bad plan. You mean you know the exit? As I said, I know this labyrinth better than anyone. Of course, I know the way out. You know. Then we too will... Phew, come. There is no other way. Well, it doesn't matter if you come or not. Jin Hyuk mumbled, which made Lee Hammond ask anxiously. But why do players do this? But it will not be for free. Where in the world is there a free ride till the end? At least if you cough out the coins you have, then maybe. Such simple words. It meant he wanted everything they had to give them the easy way out. When everyone was away, Jin Hyuk activated the exchange. Welcome to the coin exchange. A huge window appeared with a short text. It was a place to buy and sell items. Without another thought, Jin Hyuk scrolled down the category that he needed. Lower. Even lower. What he wanted was gathered there. This, and this too. Jin Hyuk quickly bought the items he wanted. Enchanted tarot cards, F, 70 coins. Worn-out bronze key, F, 80 coins. Wooden wagon wheel fragment, E, 300 coins. Lottery enhancement scroll, F, X10, 1 coin per scroll. Just 4 items. They were all trash, but Jin Hyuk smiled happily. Individual items weren't important. What mattered was how the items were used. I will combine all 3 items. If the combination is incorrect, all items will vanish. Yes, go ahead. Jin Hyuk nodded, and combining the 3 items. Synthesis successful. As if to show success, a dazzling light shone from the menu. Ba-dump! Ba-dump! His heart began to beat quickly. I did it. Looking at the item that appeared in front of him, he was convinced. All the time he had spent playing Tower of Trials wasn't a waste. Goddess of Luck. Fortuna's Wheel of Luck. Incomplete. Acquisition difficulty? S. Description. Maximize luck for 10 minutes. 1 use. However, because the item is incomplete, the range of use is limited. The Goddess of Luck in Roman mythology. And this item was the Wheel of Luck that the goddess was supposed to possess. Now, Jin Hyuk grabbed the handle of the wheel. It was hot. The heat of the relic's magic spread through his fingers. Still, relics are relics, right? The item gave him a sweet feeling. Right, this is how attractive they are. Jin Hyuk smiled as he turned the handle 360 degrees. Drrr. The relic Wheel of Luck has been activated. Luck rises to the maximum for 10 minutes. Heavenly luck. It wasn't known exactly what this stats effect was. Jin Hyuk knew precisely what the item's boundaries were. It is information that I learned after all. At that time, he had cursed aloud many times. Thanks to that experience, though, no more mistakes now. Jin Hyuk took out the 10 lottery enhancement scroll items. The enhancement success rate was 0.002%. 1 in 8.14 million. It was literally the same probability as winning the lottery, if it's used for the dagger. Enhancement succeeded. You have acquired the old dagger. You have succeeded in making a plus 110 item for the first time in the Korean server. You have acquired 5,000 coins. Please hit the like button so more people can enjoy this awesome story, and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Now let's get back to the story. This achievement will be included in the Hall of Fame for tomorrow. A Pointen item. It was the maximum enhancement value possible from an F rank item. In addition, he obtained coins too. Swish! Jin Hyuk lightly twirled the dagger and cut it softly in the air. A light and clean feeling. Now I finally have something useful. He might not have to worry about weapons for a while now. 10 days had passed since they had entered the labyrinth and faced the traps inside it. The Minotaur was constantly pursuing them, and hunger and lack of sleep were both beginning to take their toll. All of them were stuck in conditions that made survival difficult. As proof of that, their 7-person raid group had now been reduced to only 3. Jin Hyuk, Park Hana, and Jang Cheol-sik. 3. If this continues, we will all die. Yang Cheol-sik mumbled with a tired expression on his face. Right. That devilish bastard will take advantage of us and eventually throw us away. Park Hana nodded in agreement. They had been used to avoid traps the whole time. Their fate was unknown, whether as fodder that was thrown into a trap or a lure for the Minotaur. Anonymous. Why don't you just be quiet and give up? Just looking at it, you don't have the skills. Anonymous 6. I think he is someone who can reach the 10th floor. Don't make a fuss and stay silent. Anonymous. Yes. If there are 2 newbies, it is like a bowl of rice to the skilled. Anonymous 4. Besides, even his personality is terrible. Even though he'll eventually kill you, he's using respectful words and making you walk around with him. I'm getting goosebumps. Anonymous. The killer next to me is kind. Weep. They were people who belonged to the Black Crow Guild, but hadn't joined the initial climb of the tower. In other words, they were the outside support crew. What information did you find about this person? Anonymous self. All his past videos related to Tower of Trials are private. Anonymous. They've blocked everything. ViewTube and personal blogs, even things on his phone can't be hacked. Anonymous. We can't find anything if we don't know his face. Anonymous. We have no answer as we don't know what he looks like. Anonymous 6. He's like the Phantom of the Opera. Anonymous 4. I am curious, but does he have the mask on when pooping too? Anonymous 7. I tried searching, and he didn't make a broadcast channel either. Anonymous. He doesn't seem to have any intentions of gaining subscribers. Seems like he's a solo enjoyer. Why did we think about asking for help from the idiots outside the tower? Park Hana's face contorted. They were all just laughing and weren't giving her any valuable information. Of course, this was frustrating to her. Shut up. Did my brother get informed about this? Anonymous. Weep. We did tell him. Anonymous. I did. Anonymous 9. But he said it's hard to find you since you're too deep. Anonymous. You're all bunched together but can't be found. Very little is known about the labyrinth, so it will take 3 more weeks to get to where you are. 3 weeks. In just 10 days, all but 2 of them were dead. Now they had to wait 3 more weeks? Impossible. Park Hana's eyes shone with madness. Even at this moment, she was watching Jin Hyuk sleeping without fear. This monster-like guy wouldn't die no matter how much she tried. Right. She didn't kill him. She only tried to do it. Why? Because she hadn't been sure. It was also because the offense for just an attempt can be considered lower. But now, the man was actively killing them off. He really was. Aren't the lives of 6 people more valuable than 1? Even now, there are 2 people still alive. So he had to die for them to live. How about now? Let's use the fact that he's sleeping as a chance? Jang Cheol-sik picked up a rock from the ground. Although it was a crude method, it would still be effective. Crush his head while he's sleeping. If his head gets crushed, he's bound to die. No. Park Hana shook her head. This man has insane reaction speed and is an absolute monster. Whether we try a head-on or surprise attack, we won't win. They were also first-time wannabe killers. Even before taking into account the skill of their target, they couldn't do it. And attempts driven by emotion usually ended badly. Then what do? Do we wait around until we suffer and die? Suffer? Why? Park Hana exhaled and pulled a sharp sting out from her pocket. There was a clear liquid on it. The sting of the giant bumblebee. That... Even a monster would have to eat food, right? It was their job to prepare his meal, collect moss and mushrooms that grew inside the labyrinth, cook them over a fire and place them in a bowl. They had to do everything. Let's get it ready, the last supper he will eat. Ah, is it that time already? Is it moss and mushroom stir-fry? A dish made of moss and mushrooms was quite something to eat for survival. It feels like I am walking on the path of a true survivor. Miss Park Hana, could you get me some more water? Water? Mr. Jang Chail-sik, serve me more of the mushrooms. You want to eat more of this tasteless thing? Then sure. With some light conversation, all the preparations were completed. Jin Hyuk picked up the chopsticks that had been made from bat bones. The rest of the group also sat there. The three of them put the food into their mouths at the same time, but... Hoo-hoo. He ate it. The two of them laughed at the same time. Anonymous. Ha ha ha. He gulped it down. Anonymous. This is what a food thief gets. Huh. Quack. Kook. A painful groan. Blood spurted from his mouth. His body's blood vessels swelled up, making his face look grotesque. But... how? It wasn't Jin Hyuk who was vomiting blood. Quack. Quack. Jang Chail-sik groaned in pain as he scratched at his neck with his nails in desperation. His struggle, however, didn't last long. The poison had spread in an instant and quickly stopped his heart. This... you noticed that? How? How? Just how? Because it was different from usual. And you people. Jin Hyuk looked at the people in chat, though he was just pointing into the empty air. Anonymous. Is it us this time? Anonymous. Do you think it's scary if you stare at us? Your mouths are all so alive. What is scary about staying on the other side of the monitor? Jin Hyuk smiled. But if you have brains in your heads, then think about why I'm mentioning you. If the broadcast was blocked, there was no need to talk to them. He wouldn't have worn the mask as well. But there was a reason to take all this trouble. It was to check who was on the side of Park Hana. And to get evidence that they were using shortcuts. I don't know since you are from the outside, but there is only one case where a live broadcast is allowed. The Tower of Trials had its own rules. The live broadcast can be turned on only when fighting with the boss or going up to the next floor. And if the rule was broken, appropriate measures shall be taken if manipulation of the number of views or other misconduct has been detected. There are penalties. Of course, punishment too, and they were far from mild. Anonymous has left the chat. The Crow Cause has left the chat. The viewers on the public channel vanished one after another, and just moments after. Currently logged in viewers, 0. This makes no sense. Park Hana sat down on the ground, alone. These viewers will not be able to watch videos until the following month. The penalty will inflict damage to parts of the body. If caught again, the viewer will be permanently expelled. What just happened? Park Hana stuttered. Cold sweat formed on her face. It was then. Condition met. You have successfully copied the unique ability, Communion, C. Saving the copied skill in the memory of the world. Communion. But it was then that Jin Hyuk felt something. It was thud, 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 thud. A roar that shook the labyrinth. Roar! The roar of a familiar beast. Right. You were still here? He had gotten so used to it that he had forgotten its existence. It was the other being who lived with them in this labyrinth. Again! That monster is coming! Park Hana hesitated as she stepped back. The fear seeped into her bones. For Park Hana, the Minotaur was a walking disaster. She had to run away from here, right away. But where? Jin Hyuk was the only person who knew the way out, yet he only smiled while looking into the air. What is so good for you to smile? She wanted to swear at him, but getting out of this place was her main priority. You will lose if you go and fight, so just tell me where to go. Until now, Jin Hyuk told the party in advance the directions to go so they wouldn't get involved in the battle. But why do I have to tell you that? Jin Hyuk shrugged. Because until now I needed something from you. So I protected you. But not anymore. As Jin Hyuk said this coldly, Park Hana's face darkened. Wait. You will regret it. If my appa finds out about this. Appa. Why didn't she say this until now? The threat of retaliation from the Black Crow Guild that Park Hajin belonged to. Surng. Jin Hyuk pulled out his dagger. Shh. As Jin Hyuk infused magic into it, the force from the dagger made Park Hana's heart shiver. You are so funny no matter how I look at you. Up until now, he mainly avoided attacks to raise his rift stat. From the standpoint of an observer, there would be no chance of a head-on match. But Jin Hyuk had already moved. Tak. He then appeared above the head of the running minotaur. From above to below. The dagger unerringly fell towards the giant bull's head. Kwang. Ak! A pained scream. Even if the relic said he wouldn't get hurt, that didn't mean there wouldn't be pain. Since he was aiming to kill it with a strengthened +10 weapon, it was more than enough force to flip the minotaur upside down. It was worthwhile raising my rift stat. When he had first met it, the minotaur had been quite a daunting creature. It was fast and had a wide attack range. There was also the problem of the physical gap. At most, he could have dealt with it for around 20 minutes or so. But the situation changed completely thanks to the practical experiences and stats that he had earned over the past 10 days. Wung. Jin Hyuk titled his head to avoid the axe. At the same time, Levine Element of Fire is activated. A 3-pronged stream of fire blasted the bull's head in the face. Pupupung. Piercing explosions echoed through the hall, followed by the smell of burning flesh. A direct hit. Goo! It stumbled. The minotaur's body shook violently. And it didn't end there. Jin Hyuk's eyes narrowed. I will have to continue to push him. Don't rush in. When you gain muscle, the flesh turns tough. Didn't you know that fat was what made beef taste good? Jin Hyuk groaned. Go! Go! It was natural for the minotaur to get angry. Just one. One hit would snuff out his breath. Whatever the case, finding that one correct timing was the most insanely difficult task. The minotaur, who had dealt with his constant provocations, activated its unique ability. The Guardian of the Labyrinth activates LV-10 Berserker. With that, the chapter ends here. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I will be posting the next part soon.